So Rita Ora was Becky this whole time.
I argue.
Imagine it all on his face. Go through my text and he calling me baby, yeah. What if I'm choosing? Catch you out here looking stupid. Then I tell you I can't do this. Tired of the fighting is looping. If I pull
Hola, 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 mis amores, ¿cómo están? How are you doing today? So I'm back with another video, but did y'all know this? Did y'all know that Rita Ora was Becky with the good hair? I wouldn't be surprised if he's still seeing her because y'all, I have never seen this male smile as wide and authentically and sincerely in any of the pictures in my entire life. Have y'all ever seen it? Like, look how he's smiling. I mean, she's like sneaking up on him from behind. They're hugging. It was all of this right in front of our faces and we just never caught on. This is wild, y'all. You know how crazy of a world it is when even Beyonce is not exempt to how trash the male species is? If even Beyonce is not exempt, then what do you think could happen to you? Right? And I'm going to put it in this video for the record. I think Jay-Z and Beyonce are going to end up getting a divorce. I think we're probably going to hear it either this year or next year, sometime fairly soon. And I think it's going to be wild. From everything I've been seeing, I feel like they're prepping us for this. And also a lot of things have been coming out about Jay-Z, especially the fact that he's actually into males, so he's actually gay. So yeah, there's that too. But also a lot of things that he has been doing that are allegedly illegal. So a lot of things have been coming up about him, y'all. So we'll see. But leave it in the comments below if you knew about this. I just thought this was so crazy and so funny. And it made me think, well, if Beyonce isn't safe, then what does that say? What does that mean for us? You know what I mean? And it's the pick-me-shas like Rita Ora. Of course, they're like, oh yeah, cool. But you can't even blame Rita because it's the male. The male that wants to have his cake and eat it too. The male that's lying to his wife, the one that he chose to marry and be with. It's wild, y'all. And also the male that now it's come out that allegedly he's into other males. He's literally gay, allegedly. So anyways, y'all, so in this video, we're going to talk a little bit more about the plummeting birth rates and a lot of the subjects and the things surrounding that. It is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. It's absolutely wild. Leave it in your comments below what your thoughts are. And don't forget to smash that like button for me. Okay. Don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button and also the bell so you get a notification every time a video comes out. Here on this channel, we talk about women-centered topics on a regular basis. So if that's your vibe, smash that like, smash that subscribe, and let's see what we've got here.
Single women have pulled one heck of an Uno reverse card on single men. Now we're the ones saying marriage is just a piece of paper. Why do we have to define what we have? I'll keep my place, you keep yours. Marriage doesn't really benefit me. That's why the men are so mad. That we're pulling a them on them and they don't understand what happened. How did we get here is what a lot of them are asking themselves. Why did we ever give them the right to vote? Why did we ever give them the right to earn an income? Why did we ever give these women bank accounts? That's what a lot of them are mad about. Why did we ever give them this power? Because now they're too powerful. Now they're trying to roll back those rights. Because when you have less rights, they have more ability to control you. And the control has switched. And they are grappling with the fact that it's not about you anymore, sir. It's about us. They hate the fact that you can live a happy and successful life, that even societal norms have shifted. Women don't feel like they have to be defined by whether or not they're married. Women have defined success for themselves. We don't need a man to tell us what success looks like. We're redefining it for ourselves. Women are leaning into the rich auntie lifestyle. They're saying, yes, I am 35 and I'm single. That doesn't mean nobody wanted me. That means I didn't want any of them. Like, it's beautiful. Like, I'm so genuinely proud of y'all.
Men raging and throwing a tantrum because we don't want kids is so funny, because they'll always say things like, you're so selfish. Don't you want to continue on this generation? If you don't have kids, this generation is going to end and all of humanity is going to end. And it's like, okay, and like, if you want me to have kids so bad, if I provide that much value to the entirety of humanity, why don't I have the same rights that you have? In fact, why don't I have more rights than you have? Because if I control life, then why do you get more rights than me? Shouldn't it be the other way around? And also, what makes you think that I would want to go through pregnancy, post-pregnancy, not being able to leave the house without the husband texting, when are you coming home, every 5 minutes, because the husband can't even take care of his own kids, and leaving the entire mental load and emotional, mental, physical labor on the wife, and having the wife pick up the majority of the invisible labor without ever acknowledging that she picks up the entirety of the invisible labor. And with the economy nowadays, the women have to work too. So now she's not just working at work, she has to come home and work too. So our job is now 24 hours. Why would we want that? I really think that guys should be like, oh, how can I be a better man so that the person I end up with would want to have kids with me, rather than throwing a tantrum that women don't want to have kids and it's so selfish.
Did you guys hear about the man who went to a hotel last week to have schmecks with a 7-year-old and an 11-year-old? He knocked on the door and he was greeted by police officers. He snuck into his coat pocket, pulled out a pew-pew, tried to pew-pew the police officers, and they just kept pew-pewing until he was gone. Come to find out, that man was one of the highest naval officers here in Washington. Fucking fabulous. 67-year-old, let me say that again, 67-year-old naval officer. Do you know what happened today in the Supreme Court? The Supreme Court heard arguments as to how many organs in a woman's body could die off before doctors could help a woman in Idaho with a smishmortion. Because Idaho is fighting EMTALA. EMTALA is the Emergency Medical Care Act, where if a person walks into an emergency room in an emergency, that emergency room has to save their life, but not if that includes a smishmortion under Idaho's thought processes. So men are just walking around on the internet looking for schmecks with babies. And women are fighting for their fucking lives. And you guys want to claim that we're equal? You want to claim we're equal? Idaho wants women to lose organs. And that man went there to have schmecks with babies. If he'd done it that day, you know he'd done it before.
The bear. I choose the bear. I still pick the bear. I'm glad he's dead. That's really what he wanted, though. He took the coward's way out so he wouldn't have to face the consequences. You know, these type of things just make my extreme dislike for the male species go a little bit like out of control, y'all. Like, I just, why are they here? Why do they exist? They've got to go. Like, the male species has got to go. Like, they have to go. Clearly, women aren't worth anything. They're not worth anything to males. So he probably did that on purpose so that they would shoot him and he wouldn't have to face the consequences. This is why women need to take over the world and knock males down a few notches and take away their power. Yeah, it's not working out. It's not working out. Women interacting with males, it's not working out. It's like we really need to separate it. And then the women that want to stay interacting and living with males, they can, as long as they don't try to cross over to like a woman-led society. It's like, because you can't come from there and then try to cross over, because you're going to bring all of that nonsense with you, you know?
Her bald-headed grandma with the dry mac and cheese who stayed with her husband for 30 years, even though he is the family toucher, is not a strong woman. She's a pick-me who should have been institutionalized and earned her way back into society. Pick-me women are absolutely dangerous. They're talking about a case right now, Alexis Crawford and Jordan Jones. One of the girls helped her boyfriend after the boyfriend essayed her friend, helped her boyfriend kill her. And now she's about to spend the rest of her life in jail, and somebody is dead because of it. Pick-me women are a threat and a danger to society, and we need to round them up and lock them up. I mean, it's absolutely insane. And there's different forms of pick-meism is what I like to call them. Sometimes I see it in my comments. I'll talk about a man or talk about something, and then a woman will be like, not all men. Girl, who you pandering to? They are not in this comment section. They are blocked, deleted, reported as spam, and so are you. The men that you are trying to pander to, what do you think is going to happen after they use and abuse us? They're going to go right to you. Do you think that being a pick-me makes you exempt from being used and abused? Because there's no amount of pandering, no amount of pick-meism that's going to prevent a man who seeks to mistreat you from mistreating you. And that should be common sense, but it's not.
Pick-me women will hold their own daughters down while the male essays them, like Serena Joy, without a second thought. Agreed. Yes, they would. Yes, please bring more awareness to the Alexis Crawford case. Don't forget, some states want to eliminate the marriage age. So bad parents can just give away their daughters to adult males to be legal SEX slaves. That's how it was in the past, y'all. Before the feminist movement that they like to talk down on, before feminist movements and feminists stepped in, that's what they were doing. What do you think that they were doing in the 1700s and the 1800s? How old do you think those girls were? Yeah, I'm not giving birth to nothing.
Would you like to hear an opinion from a Korean woman? Hi, I'm Marianne, and I talk about cultural differences. So I am that Korean woman who should be getting married and have lots of babies, but I have no plan of doing that right now, and I'll tell you why. Part one, I'm going to talk about more of the psychological, emotional side that I feel. So number one, there's just so much negativity about marriages and having children. It's almost as if it's stupid to get married and have babies. There are TV shows in Korea that show people who are depressed and just really unhappy because they're married. But they hesitate to go through a divorce because they have children. So they just remain miserable and just really, really unhappy. There are comedy shows, and so many people joke about how there's no romance after getting married, and they freak out if their partner tries to kiss you or touch you because you're not supposed to do that to family members. And they're always joking and looking for opportunities to stay away from their partners. Finally, there are programs that show kids out of control, constantly causing issues, and the mother is crying her eyes out and the husband sitting next to her is just sighing heavily. Now, who would be in that situation? I don't. And I'm pretty sure they didn't volunteer to be in that situation either. Number 2, followed by that, there are well-known Korean expressions like 무자식이 상팔자다, which means being childless is a blessing. 다시 키워봐야 아무 소용없다, which means it's pointless to raise a child because you'll be disappointed. 결혼은 미친 짓이다. The idea of marriage is crazy. And on top of that, when you have a conversation with a married couple who have been married for a long time, they often don't recommend you get married, especially women. So I asked some Korean women 2 questions. If you could go back in time, 1, would you get married again? And 2, would you have a child again? And I asked them with a serious tone because I didn't want them to joke about it. And I was quite surprised by their answers. So they said, having a child is definitely an experience worth going through. So they would have a child, but not marriage, or with a different man. But I don't know whether that was a joke or not. In reality, their answers are so unrealistic because, like I said, in Korea, if you have a baby without being married or without a husband, you'll be judged so much. Which is why couples and celebrities would rush into marriages when they find out that they're having a baby. And number 3, during daily conversations and interactions I have with people, especially married women, they often talk about how stressed they are because of their husbands, the children or their in-laws. And it almost becomes like a competition. Whose is worse? And they tell us single ladies that we are lucky to be single and that if we can be financially independent, it's better to stay single. In the old days, if you are not married by 30, 35, seniors would put pressure on you. But nowadays, they actually encourage you not to rush. And especially mothers and grandmothers, they say, if you don't find the right man, don't bother getting married to them. It's not worth it. You know, it's very different. From the old times, I think, especially women in the 90s. I'm a 90s baby. We grow up witnessing and experiencing how stressful and unfair life can be as a working mother. We don't want that. Now, I'm sure there are many, many happy marriages, but listening to all these stories and being surrounded by all this negativity about marriages and having children, and like I said, none of them would have signed up for that. And knowing this, am I ready to risk all that and let go of all my freedom and peace? I don't know. Maybe if I meet the love of my life, which is another issue. But I'm sure these people married the love of their lives too, you know? And I didn't even mention any of the practical issues like money, housing, career, more money, raising a child in such competitive society, more financial burdens. Yeah, the government is doing stuff, but Korean people just laugh at it. That I'll talk about in part 2. I hope this helped.
Ladies, if you're ever out on a date and a man doesn't want to pay for your meal, I don't think you should handle it like this. I need you to pay the bill because I'm not paying the bill.
I can't afford to pay the bill. But I get paid on Friday. I was thinking maybe you just look out this time. I mean, you did ask me to come out to eat.
I didn't ask you. You asked me if I'm out to eat.
Well, I sat here and pretended
This is
like I
so
cared
awkward.
about what you said for like an hour. I think it'd be respectful for you to
my
just pay
God.
the bill.
Oh my God. I'm gonna sit here and argue with someone about paying a bill. I'll pay it, but like that's so sad that you would like ask somebody
Well,
else.
if you'll pay it, then what's the big deal?
Some men don't really show their true colors until you tell them no, or until you don't do something that they want you to do. I have a feeling that he wanted to go back to her place or wanted her to come back to his. And when he realized that she wasn't really feeling him like that, he was like, I'm not about to waste my money on her. I don't even care if he didn't have the money. I don't care if you have to get outside and sell plasma. I don't care if you have to become a busboy or wash some dishes or call your mama and have her get out of her bed in her robe and her bonnet and pull out a fresh $50 bill fresh from her bra. I don't care how he came up with the money, but I could care less. Y'all gotta stop being so nice. You don't owe this man anything, especially Winnie Parker. Because I believe Winnie doesn't have a job right now, if I'm not mistaken. I think he was showing videos of you doing Uber Eats and all these different things to get money for your mortgage and all of that, and you out here paying for meals for random men you meet online? This ain't no doggone soup kitchen. Let that grown man with his job pay for his own meal. Stop letting him use you, honey. He could tell by the time the bill came that she wasn't feeling him, and he was like, you know what? I'm not going to waste $30 or $40 on her. Okay, that's fine. And don't you waste $30 or $40 on him either.
I was told if you can't feed them, don't breed them. So I have a cat. She's my baby and the best daughter ever. Oh, got my tubes out this year at 31. No kids, never wanted them, but also wasn't interested in surgery until now. The fact that I had to permanently alter my body in order to have control over it is wild. Yep. More and more women are doing this. Even I did not see this coming. I kind of got siloed into a perspective of thinking that most women would probably just stop interacting with males because it doesn't make sense to run the risk of getting pregnant. And they would just stop having sex with them. You know what I mean? But drastic times call for drastic measures, y'all. It's made me start thinking about the possibility of this, even for myself. Like, at least it's normalizing it enough to where it's not as scary. Like, the young ladies are going in and they're fixing that problem right away. Right away. So these policies are making it worse. They're literally amplifying the issue to the moon and back. I hope it keeps falling, and I don't see any other way but for it to keep falling unless, people want to suffer, and people don't want to suffer, so they're not going to do it. And all of this, y'all, is in addition to how hard it is to even find a male worth procreating with. Do they think women are stupid? Like, we're just going to start popping out babies and having to take care of those babies by ourselves, consciously? No, we're not doing that.
Ladies, stop having children. I just went to the doctor, the gynecologist, and while I was in there, I met 3 young women that were just absolutely giddy. They were 3 college girls, and they were having their tubes tied. And I was like, I said, what made y'all do this? And they said, it is these new laws. So it is working in the exact opposite. By trying to outlaw abortions for women, the women are just going and getting ourselves fixed. How do I know this? Well, let me tell you. When I went in to see my doctor, who was a young woman from India, and I start saying, hey, I've met these young ladies out there in the lobby that were getting their tubes tied. And she said, you would not believe how many young ladies we've had to come through here. And she says, and I said, really? I said, because when I was younger and I wanted to have my tubes tied, they would not do it. She goes, yes. And I said, so when, I said, and I'm glad that I don't have any children. I said, so whenever a woman says that they don't want to have children, she looked at me and said, we should believe them. I hugged her. I said, thank you so much. And she said, so many young ladies have been coming through there to get their tubes tied. And then she said women that were 40 and older, like my age, were asking for hysterectomies. They'd be like, I got a fibroid, can I have a hysterectomy? And so it's women are making sure that we don't have children. Now, let me tell you the reason that they want to ban abortion. It is because these colored people, the corporations, they want cheap labor. And let me let you hear this, because now they're saying it out loud. So when you hear this, I want you to listen to what this lawmaker is saying. Now, he made a mistake. He said 2,000. He meant to say 200,000. But let's put that in there, and let's see the reason why they want women to continue to have their babies that they don't take care of.
We've killed 2,000 babies since abortion became legal. Those are 2,000 people in the state of Nebraska that could be working and filling some of those positions that we have vacancies. They're not here. Our state population has not grown except by those foreigners who have moved here or refugees who have been placed here.
So now does it make sense? Control your reproductive organs. You can. You can control your reproductive organs. You can protect yourself. Not only are you protecting your reproductive organs, but you're protecting your body. You think about that. A lot of times men won't even wash their ass. So do you really want? They don't wash their hands, and so you need to protect yourself. Pills, get the shot if you can, and he always needs to be wearing protection because you don't know where that's been. And like I said, if they don't wash their hands or wipe their ass, why would you, in a portal of your body, something that you can get sick and die from, why would you allow them to be able to play with your body? Control your reproductive organs. You won't regret it, I promise.
I'm planning to do it soon, not risking it these days. Yeah, I've been thinking about it too. I'm not going to lie. It was so worth it for the peace of mind. Good. Yeah, it's just very stressful. And then why would you want to bring another human being into this chaos? I feel sorry for the people that have kids because this world is a mess. I mean, there's wars everywhere. I was going to say 3 wars, but I think there's more than that simultaneously happening. And the US is involved in like every one of them. Y'all, they've now enforced the forced draft again because, they're getting prepped. They're getting prepped to go into war. So anyway, that's what I keep telling myself. And with the way things are going, it's about to be the only option. Oh, that's what I just said. Exactly. Not to fearmonger, but I think they will restrict sterilization as well. Seeing how the numbers have risen astronomically, and that's not what they want. Agreed. Better do it now while you still can. I want to get it before they make that illegal too. I could see it so easily happening. Exactly. Things are going to get a lot more extreme if we keep going the way that we have been. And there's no reason to think that we are not, or they're not going to keep going in the way that they have been because they're so desperate. It's wild, y'all. It's like, who on this planet do you think you're going to force to procreate with these bum males? You're not going to force anyone to procreate with these bums. It's like, it's not going to happen. Plus, there's already too many people here anyway. So I don't know what their problem is. It's wild. Got mine removed at 29, 2 months after Roe was overturned. Wow. It was such a relief after waking up from that surgery. Girl, yes. Because condemning a child to this, oh my God, I would be if I had a child, I would be freaking the heck out because I would be, oh my God, I can't even believe what we're literally witnessing with our own eyes.
News came out last week that the U.S. fertility rate hit an all-time low. What that means for schools is that there will be fewer students in the coming years. Hi, I'm Chad Alderman, and I want to tell you about a new project I have out today at the 74 million. We looked at historical enrollment numbers as well as future projections, and what we found is that they don't look good. Across the country, schools are projected to lose another 2.4 million students by the end of the decade. And what that means is that schools will have to make some tough decisions about whether they need to close some under-enrolled schools, whether their staffing ratios are still the right ones going forward. So check it out and see what enrollment numbers could mean for your community.
I'm the oldest of 11 grandkids on one side of my family, and I'm the only one who has kids out of 11 grandkids. Oh my gosh. I'm 40. The rest are mostly in their 30s, with the youngest being 24. It's a noticeable decline for sure. Goodness gracious. I'm one of 7 grandkids, and we have a total of 14 kids between us. The decline is so obvious as the grandkids get younger, starting with me only having 1. I'm one of 5, only 1 with kids. Whoosh. The Republicans have it their way. They'll go towards the Handmaid's Tale model rather than making our society supportive of families. Yeah, I've been seeing that a lot. A lot of people have been bringing up Handmaid's Tale. I've used it for a few of my videos for the main picture of a few of my videos. I saw it coming like forever ago because at the rate that these birth rates are declining, y'all, it's a problem to them. But I also think that they're trying to leverage technology, because now you've seen, I mean, I'm sure all of you have heard of like ChatGPT, and they're actually all these companies doing these layoffs. So I think they're trying to get ahead of it by doing these things that are further causing, even more people to decide to not give children, because there's not enough jobs, or there's not as many jobs, and there's all these layoffs. So everything is just kind of colliding right now. Right? Oh, y'all. Conservatives will tell women to just keep our legs shut. We said, bet. Exactly.
News that shocks no one who follows how hostile U.S. policies are toward families and pregnant people. The fertility rate in the U.S. has dropped to a historic low. Birth rates have particularly declined for women ages 20 to 39 and teenagers from the ages of 15 to 19, with the birth rate for women ages 20 to 24 reaching a record low. This is just one part of the story here, but some of you may recall these data from JAMA Health Forum a few weeks ago, which show that at the time of the Dobbs decision, which is this line right here, there was a spike in the number of tubal ligations and vasectomies performed. And from that time onward, the number of tubal ligations performed per month has been increasing at a faster rate than it was prior to the Dobbs decision. That's, of course, in addition to all the other problems we have, including the highest maternal mortality rate among industrialized nations, the lack of a livable working wage, the lack of a federal paid parental leave, the lack of affordable childcare, and the impending climate crisis for which we are doing not nearly enough. We may also start to see more influence from South Korea's 4B movement, which I see people commenting more and more frequently on my videos these days. While some politicians, I think, are trying to make things better and are in favor of more family-friendly policies at the federal level, we have Republicans in various states refusing to even offer free lunch to kids. Soon enough, as a society, we're going to have to reckon with how these family-hostile policies, most of which are put forward by the party of family values, by the way, are leading to the end of the American family.
Losers. Okay. Well, we know tubal litigation and hysterectomies will be on the illegal list after IVF and birth control. They'll keep condoms because they allow males a choice. Ooh. If they take away birth control, y'all, that's not going to be good, because that helps me regulate my menstrual cycle. If they take that away, then I'm definitely getting it done. I'm not bringing a child into this world. This is wild. Even if things get better, I'm never going to be able to trust that you're not going to try to harass my child in the future, and my child will have to struggle and suffer through even worse than I did. No, thank you. So yeah, they covered Viagra, but they didn't want to cover birth control until the Affordable Care Act. That was just not that was 2 seconds ago. Affordable Care Act. Wasn't that just a few years ago? Oh my God. These people are terrible. Disgusting species. True, but that's another choice, right? So all the males get all the choice, and the women are left holding the bag, like I said earlier. You just want women to be out here procreating with subpar species. Not going to happen. I say to any women, whatever you do, don't get pregnant. Policies to save women, help mothers, children, families are absolutely beyond horrible. It is a literal nightmare. Republicans are the worst. Yeah, so are Democrats. Democrats are terrible. Democrats are, I feel like, even worse, because Democrats are the type of people that, politicians that will blatantly lie to your face and say, no, we're here for you. We want women to have more rights. We want Black people to have more rights. But then behind closed doors, they're doing the exact opposite. At least Republicans are saying it to your, they'll say it to your face. Democrats won't say it to your face, but they'll do exactly what they need to do to keep you down and drive you even lower than wherever you are. So yeah, both parties are crap. There is a women's strike on June 24th. No work, no school, no money spent. We will not be treated as second-class citizens. We deserve to be safe and healthy. There is, I stay home all day, every day anyway, when it comes to work, because I work from home. But I didn't hear about this. Did y'all hear about this? Leave it in the comments below if you have, so as to inform all the ladies, so we can support and participate in whatever way necessary and whatever way needed. If you must work, wear red and do not spend money anywhere not female owned or run. Or anywhere that's not female owned or run. Yeah. I don't know if it's that bad. They may suggest males father the children before sterilization. Yeah. Why are they not suggesting that now? That's part of the issue. That's part of the reason why women are choosing to not deal with it. And also suggesting that males father the children is not going to do anything because males can't birth the children. So what children will they be fathering? Y'all can't make this stuff up. Wild. Who knew a terrible economy and a hostile society that despises women and children would encourage people not to have children? I wonder, right? Republicans are destroying the country. They are making it dangerous to be a woman and child. Yeah. Hence the war on women's rights. Yep. It isn't just reproductive rights. They also see divorced women being controlled by exes via patriarchal family courts, and younger women don't want to be saddled to abusive exes in their lawyers and their lawyers. Yeah. 4B, bear for me. Yep.
Breaking news, you guys. The United States infertility rate is at an all-time low. It's even surpassed France. Remember when I told you Europe was having trouble with conceiving children? They haven't had children in a few months. Well, United States surpassed them, y'all. They're even talking about in a few years, deaths are projected to surpass births. Check this out.
Okay? We got a problem. And it's all something almost no one here ever talks about. We're not having children. United States fertility rates have collapsed. This number's wrong. It's our latest number for last year is not 1.64, it's 1.63. France has a higher fertility rate than the United States. Even when you adjust for their immigration population, they still have a dramatically higher fertility. Most of Western Europe looks like us, and we're worse than a whole bunch of the world. How do you and I set public policy so 25 years from now, remember, Social Security is substantially a pay-as-you-go system. Today's workers are functionally paying for today's retirees. The trust fund was the shock absorber. Trust fund is disappearing. But my future generation of workers is going to be smaller. And you're already seeing this in school districts all over America, where the number of students they have are shrinking.
I showed y'all that.
Are we willing to have the really interesting discussion of, okay, are there things we could do economically to make it so family formation, so there's more children? There's things we could do to help, but almost every country it's tried has not been able to change fertility rates. I think in Hungary, I think I saw something that, third child, they buy you a house, fourth child, you get some sort of like prize, and it's barely ticked up their fertility rates. It's a really difficult question, happening all over the industrialized world. So if you can't really change it, do you actually build public policy to deal with it? Do you accept the fact that we're going to have a lot more automation? It means capital investment. Are we going to have to find ways to safely adopt artificial intelligence into society so the labor force is maximized in its value and what they earn and productivity? Those are policies we need to work on. You've seen the intellectual capital of the conversations we have on the floor here. How many of them are ready to actually have the reality of, hey, we need to set policy. Is this Republican or Democrat? It's demographics. It's life. And I'm going to bounce through the next two boards because there's a punchline here we need to absorb. This is a little uncomfortable, but this was deaths that are projected to exceed births. And the new math, in 15 years, you got to understand what a big deal this is. I came behind this microphone a couple years ago, and I got some real crap that was sent to my office. And I think at that time I was saying, hey, in 21, 22 years, we're going to have more deaths than births in this country. And then it became 18 years. And then it became 17 years. The new math now is 15 years. In 15 years, the United States will have more deaths than births. The blip you see here is the pandemic. But if you actually look at the line, you can sort of understand, and here's our crossing. Somewhere a little before 2040, which is 15 years, we have more deaths than births.
So the United States infertility rate is at an all-time low and is beating parts of Europe. Alabama just stopped IVF and fertility treatments, and people are noticing that there are less and less children in schools, you guys. Do you guys see what's going on in this world? Could this be the reason why there's a lot of migrants coming in to the United States to make it seem like there's a lot more people than there really are? What do you think about that? Remember, you guys, the United States is not the only place experiencing this.
The results of punishing women for simply existing. Yep. With more and more American women losing reproductive rights and bodily autonomy, they're choosing the 4B movement because these draconian laws are killing us. I think it will fall even further. Yeah, it's going to fall super fast. Oh my gosh, it's going to be like done. It's going to be done. The eyes. Ironically, the same Republican leaders that fret over the impact of declining birth rates on American productivity don't want to let immigrants into the country. I heard that they've been letting a lot more immigrants into the country, so I'll have to cross-check that one. I want more children, but not in a country where women are forced to have them and our medical decisions belong to the state. Exactly. They are only worried about the YT birth declining. Yeah, that's true. I always have to remind myself that that's probably true. They're only worried because it's especially rapid within the YT group. So I think actually the YT, leave it in the comments below if you know if they are already a minority. But last I saw data on this, they were quickly heading towards becoming the minority. And so it's freaking them out, right? All the races aren't going to be having kids like that. I mean, and the ones that are going to be saddled with so much debt, so much pressure, so much poverty that what's going to come out of that? This is just a lose, all lose around. But I think what this commenter is basically saying is, well, they don't really care about anybody else but the YT people, even though this is affecting everyone else as well. They don't care, right? And I kind of agree with that. Someone said, well, we're broke too. Look, that's exactly what I just said. It's affecting everyone. I mean, so, but yeah, for some reason they only care about the YT people. I don't know. Oh, we know other YT people don't know though. Majority of welfare is allocated to YT population. Wow, I did not know that. Yup. Someone said yup. Yep. Okay, but they still want you to give birth. Girl, I'm not giving no birth. Bring my child into this. Yeah, right. Funny way of showing it. I'm just saying he spoke for us too. Women
would rather be single than be with Mr. Wrong or Mr.
Ooh, I've been saying this for a while and now researchers are confirming it, that what's happening are two things. Let's start with the easy one. Women have always been told to pick better. Guess what's happening? They're picking better. How many times have women been left out in the cold to raise children by themselves or have an unfair share of the workload inside their homes? They're basically married single mothers doing all of the childcare responsibilities. But we're told, pick better men. And the second part is we finally have the internet. We have a tool that goes across borders, across boundaries, and we can share our truthful stories. So right now, this is the most empowering time for women where we actually have the decision-making power to say, is this something that I want? Do I want to be carrying the lion's share of parenting? And many are saying no.
Right. If we have to bring home the bacon and fry it too, I might as well be single and peaceful. Exactly. Makes no sense. That part. Yes, girl. That is the one. What are you bringing to the table, sir? What are you bringing to the table? What are you bringing to the, actually, don't tell me. I don't care. Goodbye. Way easier to just pick up after myself. Exactly. Oh my God. It's awesome. That's the thing. Peace. No one will ever take that away again. No, no, no. For me, it's a risk versus reward. The risk is too high and the reward isn't enough. This is exactly what I said in my previous video. I believe it's in the video that we just watched that I just posted on child-free women. For me, it's risk versus reward. The risk is too high and the reward isn't enough. So I've decided not to be a mother. It's too engulfing. Look at that. Fancy. It's too engulfing. They say we're emotional, but being child-free is the most logical choice because it's too risky to do it. Yeah, it's just way too risky. Being a single mother and living in poverty is a fate worse than death. I saw my mom go through it. No thanks. Yeah, and then you bring a child here just so they can witness that and go through it themselves, most likely. No thanks. I grew up single parent too, and had the occasional horrible stepfather. I will never be trapped like that again. No, thank you. All the women I know who are married with kids do everything at home and they pay half of the bills and work full time. It's a no for me. Yeah, no way over my dead body. Same. The women are doing all the work. Yeah. These males make it so difficult. We're told to pick better, but then told stop being so high maintenance. No, yeah, okay. No, nobody listen to that. It depends on what your standards are. Are they actually good for you or are they purely fantasy? Oh, Dusty. I should have realized it was a Dusty. I'd have stopped reading sooner. Get the heck out of here, Dusty. No one cares. The inventory is so bad, but we continue to be called names because we aren't settling for garbage partners. Literally. That's how you know that the males are garbage too. It's like women that have standards and have worked really, really hard to get better standards and boundaries. All the males can do is sit there and insult them. They're disgusting. They just end up looking even more and more disgusting and pathetic. The male species, gross. The inventory, right? Got to stand your ground. There are Dusty. Get the heck out of here. Most educated males want someone educated as well. That's not true. Most mothers just never seemed happy to me, and so many other things over time. Yeah, exactly. No, thank you. Yes, the internet challenged the stigma around having these conversations. Yeah, the internet did more than that. Connection tool, and the rich people don't want to get rid of the internet because they are banking off of the internet. So they're just kind of sitting there like, oh, now what? Because if they get rid of the things that make the internet useful, that make the internet to where people want to get on the internet, which is connecting with each other, then where's all the money gonna, they're banking off of it. So they're in a tough spot, right? Mm-hmm. My mom didn't want kids, had 3 husbands who all convinced her to, and they all left. No child support, no nothing. I ain't making that mistake. Exactly. My mom is so unhappy married to my dad. I refuse to do that. I would rather be single than be with the wrong male. Exactly. We were always trying to pick better. There was just never enough good males to go around. Yeah, exactly. It's like, not if not everyone gets one, that's cool. That's fine. Not a big deal. Let's see. Now we can opt for single. Yes. I choose me. Period. I choose me. Period. I wish I picked better for my son. I'll be picking better in the future and making sure that my son is better. Well, girl, good luck with that. Also, in sharing stories, we are learning the chances of finding a male sees us as human is very low. Who sees us as human is very low. Yeah, exactly. I think this is the main issue. Sharing stories, it just makes women realize, oh, it's actually happening all around the world to most women. It's not just you. It's not something that's wrong with you. oh, well, that's a game changer. That's a game changer. It's like, oh, you're the problem. Okay, well, I'm just going to go live my life because nothing I can do to help you, goodbye, so yeah. Women today are picking ourselves and living better for it, period. Have you seen Rihanna Vogue cover? And the males are losing their minds, how upset they are. Rihanna has found a good father for her children. Rihanna strikes me as very, very smart. So there's no telling what type of vetting that dude went through, but she strikes me as very, very smart, strategic. So I would be surprised if she made an incorrect choice in that, but you never know. You never know what's going on behind closed doors. Yes, and when we start comparing these mediocre dudes to the lives we create on our own, they lose. If you cannot improve my life and add to my peace, then why would I bother? I thought my ex would be a good husband, father, and he was a terrible boyfriend. And seeing how he's acted with his BM, I'm glad I never made life with him. Yeah, that would suck. This fire. Mm-hmm.
What the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong with you? Okay. What the fuck? What the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Okay. 4B movement. Y'all, as soon as I opened the comments, I saw 4B movement. Yep, there you go. For real, I want a male who doesn't want kids. That's all. Never wanted kids. Always grew up with people telling me I'm still young and I'll change my mind. I'm 28. Still hasn't happened yet. 8 billion people in the world and me not having kids. I don't think it's going to be the end of humanity. Exactly. I do kind of feel bad because, it's true that the people that are having kids are having to basically do the work for us. I don't know. I don't even know what to say about that. I want to adopt a kid, just one. Oh, that's cool. I think that would be a really cool experience. I saw a woman the other day with 11 kids in tow. It's fine. Right, exactly. These women, they will make up the difference. It's okay. What's the problem? Y'all make me proud.
I'm not much for conspiracy theories, but I gotta know what you think about this one. Birth rates are dropping and governments are panicking. I think, oh great, our population's dropping. That's just what this world needs. When in actuality, fiscally, our society is structured in a way that relies on the working class as taxes, so working age people, to take care of the elderly. So our societal structure is about twofold. U.S. fertility rate is hitting record lows. It hit record low 2020, 2019, and 2018 with the pandemic helping pick things up momentarily. Policymakers who are structuring our society have long agreed upon a 2.1 replacement level fertility. However, since the government started tracking fertility rates in the 1930s, we have now fallen to the lowest of ever fertility rate of 1.64 children per woman. What happens if we fall below this 2.1 replacement fertility level is our population starts to grow older and shrink, and that slows economic growth and strains government budgets. As we see these older generations like boomers who are growing up with 7 children in the family move into old age, we need an equal working class to be able to fund different government programs we have for the elderly, such as Social Security, Medicare. Not to mention, things are about to get a lot more expensive for our children. We think inflation's bad now. Half of our state government's revenue comes from sales tax. And if there's less of a population spending money, guess what they have to do? Increase sales tax and increase the cost of goods. What can governments do to increase fertility rates around the country to get ahead of this issue? They could provide affordable childcare for families. They could provide guaranteed parental leave. They could provide affordable childcare for families. They could provide guaranteed parental leave. They could make sure women are protected from losing their jobs from pregnancy. Or they could make abortion illegal and force us to have more babies to get ahead of the fertility rate.
I just saw a video of a woman who had quadruplets in the US and her hospital bill exceeded $4 million. So, heck no. It's not a conspiracy theory. One of the elected officials actually said all women owe the country a worker. They know what they're doing. It's males. Males. Y'all, males. The best thing that could come out of this is if women literally broke away and created their own society separate from that of males. How fantastic would that be? I saw on TikTok yesterday where a woman said that daycare for her 2 children was $900 a week. I don't even bring home $900 a week total. So no kids for me. Daycare is as much as mortgage. It's literally insane. Wow, that's crazy.
The declining birth rates around the world. These are all coming from some of the most populous countries. A place like Spain has declined at nearly 50% since the 1950s. That's still nothing compared to Thailand. They've seen I don't even know what this is, like an 80% decline. Still, that's not as crazy as South Korea. They have the lowest birth rate in the entire world. Of course, the government is trying to do something about it, but what can you really do? We definitely hear about a lot of those things coming out of Japan too. And this kind of explains that Japan hasn't had the same decline that Korea has though. But what's crazy about this is literally all the countries here are experiencing some sort of birth rate decline. Even China, who recently announced they actually have lost population. Afghanistan remained pretty high up until recently. You're seeing that Algeria had kind of a comeback, but then it dipped back down.
We know they're really starting to freak out when the narrative shifts from, well, you shouldn't have kids until you can afford to have kids, to you're young, you should have kids. There's never a good time to have kids. Children are a blessing. They're a blessing. It'll all get sorted out. You'll figure it out. Parenting is hard for all of us. If you waited for a right time, nothing's ever going to be perfect. You just have those kids. I've seen this on Instagram, the Utah girlies talking about this, getting married at, 22, starting to have families right away because this is what's being directed towards them, is have those babies. Do it now. Yeah, they're desperate. Really desperate.